All right, friends, we're back again with more perspective. Now, we started off with our boxes and our 1-point perspective. We got a little more complicated when we created more complex shapes, right? We drew all of our corners back to the vanishing points, and we drew the outer edges of our curves back to the vanishing point as well. Now, 1-point perspective works great if the front of the object is facing us perfectly flat. All right, but this hardly ever happens. If we are looking at a cube shape, like this one here, and I show you the front face of it, just like this, you hardly ever are going to see the sides, the top, or the bottom if it's facing you perfectly. Now, if I turn it, now you can see the front and the side, and if I move it below the horizon line that we're looking at, you can see the front, the side, and the top. But this front face is no longer facing you directly, and that's why we can see these other things. So 1-point perspective is hardly ever a true looking perspective. It always looks a little bit off because that front face is looking at us straight ahead. And that's where we're going to get into bumping this up to the next level. And instead of doing 1-point perspective, we're going to do 2-point perspective. All right, we're going to start the same way with a horizon line going across the center of our page, just like this. And instead of 1 point, somewhere on this horizon line, we're going to put 2. And I'm going to put, for this, you want to copy me exactly. We want to put 1 all the way over here on the left side, and 1 all the way over here on the right side. All right, we've got 2 vanishing points now. And instead of drawing the front face of our object, we are going to draw the part of our object that is closest to us. And that part is this edge right here. We've got a face, an edge, and we've got corners. The edge is going to be the part that we draw first when we're doing 2-point perspective. All right, so let's do one above the horizon line first. We'll put it a little bit over to the side, and we're going to draw that edge. The edge is just a line, just a vertical line. That's what we're going to start with. So I'm going to decide I want it to go from here, and I want it to go down to there. I'm going to keep it above my horizon line, and that's going to be our edge. Try and make it as straight up and down as you can. Now, we don't have any corners, we don't have any curves, but we got the end of our line here. We've got the top edge and the bottom of our edge. And we're going to take both of these, and we're going to draw them to both vanishing points. So I'm going to take the top of our edge there, line it up, and draw that to the right vanishing point. I'm going to take the bottom of our edge right here. Make sure I'm up against my pencil and draw it to the right vanishing point. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. This time I'm going to put my pencil up here on the top, put my ruler up against it, and then move it over until I get to my vanishing point. Then draw it down, just like that. Same thing here. Put my pencil on it, scooch it over, hold it down, draw the line down to the vanishing point. Okay, we got something interesting happening here, but we're not quite there yet. First thing we're going to do is we're going to cut these triangular shapes out, just like we did with our 1-point perspective, but we got to do it on 2 sides. So I'm going to mimic this vertical line here, move over to the right a little bit, and then draw that same vertical line, cutting off these lines going to the vanishing point. And I'm going to do the same thing going to the left. Now remember, this line here, this is our original edge. So I've got 1 over here on the right, and I'm adding another one over here on the left. I'm going to move a little bit further and cut this off right here. Okay? We got 1 line on the right, 1 line on the left. Now at this point, keep us from getting confused, after those lines we put there, I'm going to draw this, or erase these lines that are going back to the vanishing point. Alright, let's get those out of the way. Same thing on the left side. I think I got my left and my right? Yeah. Little victories. Alright, and now it does look like we have a floating box, but we're missing something. Okay? Because we're above the horizon line, we have the left side, we have the right side, but because we're above, we need to see the bottom. Alright, and you might be tempted to just try and sketch this in so it looks right, but every line that we're going to draw in 2-point perspective is either going to be a vertical line going straight up and down, like this one here, like this one here, like this one here, or it's going to go to the vanishing point. So if I see anyone trying to draw a horizontal line to connect these two, that's not going to fly. That's not going to work. So how are we going to do this? Well, we can't close off the bottom with vertical lines, so those will just keep going down until we hit the horizon line. So I guess we need to draw these to our vanishing points. We've got these corners right here, 1 and 2. If I try and draw this one over here to the right vanishing point, that's just going to give us the same line we just erased. So what we need to do is we're going to crisscross. All right, instead of drawing this over to the right, we're going to take this one over to the left side to draw the bottom of our box. Scooch it up till we hit that vanishing point. Draw it over. Now we're getting somewhere. This point down here at the bottom of the left, we're going to draw all the way over to our right vanishing point. Scooch it up and look at that. We just created the bottom of our box. We can erase these lines after the point where they intersect. Just like this. And now we have a box with a left side, a right side, and a bottom floating up in space. Okay? We can do that same thing below the line, no problem. Let's make a short box. I'll try and do this quick. Okay, start with a vertical line. That's how tall I want my box to be. We'll draw the top and the bottom of our center line. I'm going to draw an arrow so we remember that's the center. Maybe we'll put a C right above it so remember that's our center line. Draw the top and the bottom over to the right vanishing point. Scooch this around, trying to make it so you guys can see a little better. All right, top of the line over to the left. Bottom of the line over to the left. Okay, and now we're going to make a vertical line all the way over here on the right side to chop it off between these two diagonals. And another one, let's make this one really big, all the way over here on the right side. Okay, that's the left. I knew I was going to mess it up. Here's our right cutoff. Here's our left cutoff. After those lines, we can erase over to the vanishing point. And you can take your time and get this erased all the way back. I just want to make it so we don't get confused here and so I don't waste your time. I'm not going to take all that time to do that. And then we're not going to see the bottom of this box because here's our horizon line right here. We're looking down at this box, so we're going to see the top. Let's get rid of this C. The top is going to go right here. So we're going to take these two corners and we're going to crisscross to the opposite vanishing point. Take it here, line it up with the left side, whoosh, send it over, and then this one here, we're going to draw over to the right vanishing point, crisscrossing. Okay, and that gives us our top. Past that intersection, we can erase. Piece of cake. So we've got a left side, a right side, and a top now. But what if we have a box that's overlapping the horizon line, just like this one right here? Well, let's see what happens. This time I'm going to draw our first line, our vertical line, so it goes through our horizon line. Just like that. Okay? Do the same thing. The top and the bottom are going to go to both vanishing points. Top to the left, right, Mr. Sperber. Bottom to the right. Top to the left, bottom to the left. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing. This is our center. We're going to go to the left. Make another vertical line to chop this off. And we're going to go to the right and make a vertical line that chops this off. Okay, got one to the left, one to the right. Same thing as before. We're going to erase these lines that go to the vanishing point after the line that we drew. And behind our box, we're not going to see that horizon line, so we can erase the horizon line that is behind our box right here. All right. Now, as you can see, because we overlapped our horizon line, we don't see the top. There's no top. We don't see the bottom. There's no bottom, but we do have a left side and a right side. Just like when we did 1 point perspective. When it's above the horizon line, we see the bottom. When it's below the horizon line, we see the top. And when it's right on the horizon line, we don't see the bottom or the top. The same thing happens here. Above, we see the bottom. Below, we see the top. And when it overlaps, we don't see the top or the bottom, just the two sides. Okay? Now this is starting to get a little more complicated. So if you end up just following what I've done here today, step by step, that's fine. But for this assignment, you need to submit a picture in 2 point perspective of 3 boxes. One above the horizon line, one below the horizon line, and one that intersects the horizon line, just like my 3 boxes right here. So give it a go, take a picture, turn it in for the assignment in the Google Classroom. And I can't wait to see how you do with this. Good luck.